It was Christmas Eve, a snow falling gently over the city lights, and inside a mansion that could buy half the neighborhood, one man sat alone, staring at an untouched dinner for two. His name was Ethan Coley, the youngest self-made CEO in the city, a man the world admired but no one truly knew. Every Christmas, he waited in silence, holding on to a fading hope that someone would knock on his door again, a broken bar, someone who never did. If you're watching this right now, don't skip it, because what happened next would change not just Ethan's life, but maybe the way you see kindness, love, and second chances. And before we go deeper into his story, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, because stories like this remind us that miracles don't come wrapped in gold. A broken bar, sometimes they come wearing torn gloves and carrying a child's laughter. Ethan's assistant had left hours ago. His mansion was spotless, but empty, like a museum for a man who'd stopped living. Every clock tick echoed loneliness. He had money, cars, everything except the one thing he'd lost years ago: his family. His parents died in a crash on Christmas night when he was just 19. He built an empire to escape the pain, but success only built higher walls around his heart. Then, just as the clock struck 9, a faint knock broke the silence. Ethan frowned. He wasn't expecting anyone. He opened the door, and standing in the snow was a woman in a worn coat, holding the hand of a little girl no older than 7. The child's cheeks were red from the cold, her eyes bright despite it. "Sir, a broken bar. I'm sorry to bother you," the woman said softly. "We were delivering Christmas cookies around the neighborhood for the shelter broken bar, and we missed our bus. My phone's dead, and I didn't know where else to go." For a moment, Ethan didn't speak. No one had come to his door in years, especially not on Christmas. He could have told them to leave, could have called a cab and shut the door, but something about the child's trembling hands clutching a tin of cookies made him pause. "Come in," he said finally. The warmth of the fireplace greeted them as Ethan handed them blankets. The little girl looked around in wonder. "Wow, broken bar, do you live here all alone?" she asked innocently. Ethan nodded with a faint smile. "Yes, a broken bar, it's just me." The woman introduced herself as Grace, and her daughter as Lily. They had been staying at the community shelter after Grace lost her job 2 months earlier. Life had been tough, but Grace still found a way to teach Lily the spirit of giving and making cookies for strangers even when they barely had enough for themselves. Ethan listened quietly, something stirring inside him. The more Grace spoke, the more he saw the contrast between her world and his. She had nothing, but her eyes still carried warmth. He had everything, but his eyes reflected only emptiness. Lily, meanwhile, had found the grand piano in the corner. "Can I play?" she asked shyly. Ethan nodded. Her small fingers touched the keys, and though she missed a few notes, the melody that filled the room was pure and full of life. Ethan felt something wet slip down his cheek. He hadn't cried in years. Grace noticed. "Are you okay?" He chuckled, embarrassed. "It's just a broken bar. My mother used to play that same song." The three of them spent the night talking, laughing, eating the cookies Lily had made. For the first time in a decade, Ethan felt something return, something that money could never buy. As midnight struck, Lily handed him a small cookie wrapped in foil. "Merry Christmas, Mr. Ethan. This one's special. Mommy says when you give something from the heart, it brings good luck." Ethan smiled. "Then I'll keep it safe." The next morning, Ethan insisted on driving them back to the shelter. But when they arrived, he saw the conditions of the cracked walls, the thin blankets, the children with no toys. He stayed quiet all the way back to his mansion, but his mind was racing. That week, while Grace and Lily went on with their lives, something remarkable happened. Ethan called his lawyers and ordered that the old shelter be rebuilt to modern, warm, with proper rooms and classrooms for the children. He didn't tell anyone who funded it. He didn't even tell Grace. He just wanted to do something right for once. Weeks later, Grace received a letter inviting her to apply for a position at a new community program. When she arrived for the interview, her jaw dropped. It was in the same place where the shelter once stood. Ethan was waiting there, smiling. "I think you'd make a perfect director," he said softly. "You taught me what Christmas really means." Grace couldn't speak. Tears filled her eyes. "You did all these a broken bar for us?" "For you," Ethan replied, and for the part of me I lost." Lily ran up and hugged his leg. "You're part of our family now, Mr. Ethan." That Christmas, the three of them decorated the new shelter together, surrounded by laughter and music. Ethan looked at them, realizing that the family he thought he'd lost forever had been waiting for him all along, just in a different form. Years later, Ethan and Grace married quietly at the same shelter, surrounded by the children whose lives they changed. Lily walked down the aisle as their flower girl, smiling like the sunshine that had melted Ethan's frozen heart years before. Every Christmas after that, Ethan's mansion no longer echoed with silence. It was filled with laughter, warmth, and the smell of Grace's cookies. And if you're still watching this, remember, sometimes the people who need love the most are the ones who hide behind walls of success. So keep your heart open, because one knock just only can change everything. If this story touched you, tap the like button, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe for more heart-touching stories that remind us what really matters: kindness, family, and love that finds you when you least expect it.